Good morning, preppers.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
Yay.
We're preppers. Today, we want to, it's a little bit different. Instead of talking behind the desk and everything, instead of showing you products and stuff, we're going to just talk a minute about problems in the future. Problems in the future. One of the, I'd say most common, but a very common comment we get from our followers, from you, is we love for the fact that you talk about the facts. We love for the fact that you talk about what's coming, but you always are so even-keeled about it. Even-keeled, level-headed, and without putting the fear-mongering, like, we're all going to die. Oh, no, we better.
We have moments.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we have moments where we think that we're all going to die, too, you know, because it's human nature. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, and we've mentioned this on the videos before, that when you actually have this kind of like fear-mongering, what happens in your brain is it actually sets off not only stress and cortisol, which is super bad for you, but also your sympathetic activation system, which causes your heart to race. Mm-hmm. You know, your
hands are sticky.
Yeah, all these things. You start getting cold and clammy, tunnel vision, and you start going into this panic mode. And since a lot of people, not you, of course not you, not me, a lot of people who have this viewpoint of, I sit in my chair and I watch reruns of Happy Days, and I don't get up, I don't get out. There's nothing really exciting in your life. When you hear about these fear-mongering things from different channels, you're like, oh, look what's happened. Did you hear this? And that excitement that builds up, even though it's not an excitement you want, makes you feel more alive, and you become addicted to watching these things. Yeah, it's a high. Exactly right.
It's a prepping high.
Prepping. There's got to be a great name for this besides prepping high. I think that's like Colorado preppers. All right, so anyway, be careful with that, obviously, but that's not really the whole purpose of this video. So stick with us, and here's the way I want to give you an analogy. Ashley and I were talking about this morning, because we get caught up sometimes too. We watch something or read something and we're like, oh no, this is bad. And I'll be honest with you, what's coming this fall, what I think is coming this fall, and what's happening next summer, oh, it's going to be bad. I really do.
Yeah, no, we had a big discussion about that this morning because, I don't know, it was very frightening.
And so I'm going to use an analogy of, have you ever been to the beach, and the ocean, mind you? Not like the Michigan beaches, which are beautiful, but the water's always calm. We're talking about actually like, especially on the Pacific, there's some serious waves there, or maybe Florida or whatever, or, you know, Hilton Head or whatever, wherever you've been on the beach. And when you stand in the water and the waves are hitting you, you get back upright again, and the waves hit you, and you get back right up again. That's kind of like how things are happening, especially now in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because, you know, granted, at the very beginning, the waves were hitting fast, and it's like almost knocking you over. You're like, holy crap, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Where'd it come from? People like us who've been prepping for a long time saw the storm coming. You know, and that's why we started prepping 15 more years ago. I was like, Ashley, I saw the weather forecast. There's a storm coming. I don't know when it's going to hit. But soon enough, we're going to be standing in the ocean water, and the waves are going to be hitting us. So we better start getting ready.
Well, it's like the flags they put out when you live by the beach. You know, they have the warning flags. And we've been seeing the warning flags for a long time now, and now they're just getting harder as far as like saying, don't go out, don't go out.
Exactly. So here's the situation. You'll notice, and again, if you've been this before, which, you know, swimming in the ocean is something everybody should do in their lifetime. It's just...
Check it off your list.
It's fantastic, you know what I'm saying? But you're standing there, and if you notice this type of thing, I'm such an observer of nature. Maybe you've seen this before too. But as you're standing there, the water will start moving out, and then the wave hits you. In fact, the faster and the more shallow the water becomes, the faster it moves out, the bigger the wave that's going to nail you. And that's what tsunamis are all about, you know, because you see like in these Asian towns, you know, that their ancestors told them, when you see the water disappearing, it's time to get to high ground. And they did. But all the tourists are like, oh, look, where's all the water going? And next thing you know, a tsunami's hitting. So that's what we're seeing. When you start seeing things kind of even keeled and everything's fine, in fact, even more so, you think everything's fine because the water's moving out. You're like, oh, cool, now I can look for shells. That's not the time people are looking for shells. It's time to brace for impact.
That's very true.
And basically, if you're a prepper, that means you live in the ocean and you're used to those tsunamis. Well, not tsunamis.
No.
You're used to waves hitting you.
Yeah.
You know how to dive in the waves. You know how to, like, I used to actually, on one of my adventures, I had a day sailor sailboat. I used to sail through the waves, and all the people on the beach would just watch us like, this guy's going to die. And I didn't. Because you basically get on the front of the boat and you kind of like dive through the wave. And once you get out far enough, you put up the sails and off you go.
Yeah.
Then you surf it back in. That's really, anyways, that's a whole different story. But the thing is, you get used to it and you kind of know what's happening. So when the big waves are coming, you're like, wow, look at that big wave coming. This is going to hurt. And you're more even keeled about it and calm. Yeah, this is going to be a big wave. This is going to hurt, Ash. Ready? Okay. That was a little painful. But you know what? We prepared for that wave. You prepared for it. Now, the problem is this, that if it's your first time in the ocean, in other words, you're not really a prepper, you haven't really been doing it, and suddenly your eyes are open and you're like, whoa, this is really bad, and you see the big waves coming, you tend to freak out.
Yeah, you tend to run.
And then to make it worse, if you're not prepared for that wave, what happens? The undertow sucks you out. Do you know the undertow?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of undertow warnings, literally will suck you out into the ocean if you don't know how to overcome them.
Yeah.
Okay? This is not a video on how to overcome an undertow, I'll tell you how. But the point is, you get used to it and you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, you feel for it.
Right. So what I like to do is this. You ready? I'm like the Goshen Prepping Lifeguard channel. Well, we are. Okay?
Mostly him.
You probably have seen us on Baywatch.
No.
And so anyways, we're standing up in the tower and we've got our little life preserver and stuff. We've got our whistle to blow at people. And when you start seeing some big waves coming in, I wanted to warn people, hey guys, be ready. Because this wave, it's going to hurt. Okay? Lifeguards don't do this. They put suntan lotion on, I think, and just hang out and stuff. Save people's lives. They don't warn about big waves. Okay, but anyways, the big waves are coming in. That's what we're trying to do, is just warn people.
We are.
That's why we're even keeled, because we've been in the water for a long time.
Yeah.
So with this, again, some other people who don't go in the ocean at all are like, you're fear-mongering, telling people to watch out for those waves. Really? No. That's what fear-mongers are. They're people who are not in the water at all, telling you how to do your job.
Yeah, they're on the shore screaming at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling you to get out when they've never even put their feet in the water.
Well said. Well said. And this is why she's a keeper. Okay, so with this, we see right now, I like to say right now we're in a lull period.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We're in a lull period. The shortages, there's still some shortages, but nothing like it was just a couple months ago,
yeah,
a few months ago.
The gas price went down.
Oh yeah, the gas. Wow, I love saving at the pump. Only paying $3.50 a gallon. I think it's like $3.77. No, exactly. Dump out the milk and let's feed the cat gas.
Yeah.
You know? Don't feed the cat gas.
Do that.
So this law that's happening right now is this: people who, again, I'm going to say the naysayers are saying, "See, you," and I've actually had these comments. "See, you were wrong the whole time." Really? Because just because that wave didn't knock me over, you need to get on the lifeguard thing and see the waves that are coming in. Because, my friend, we have a tsunami warning.
Yeah.
We have a tsunami warning, metaphorically speaking. We need to be ready because crap is going to hit the fan. We cannot continue, at least in the United States,
the way we're going.
Tons of money, dishing it out, and think nothing's going to happen. Not to mention, when you actually look at the war cycle and how the New World Order switches every so often, we're due for another world war.
Well, history repeats itself.
Exactly.
I mean, you can see it right there. So.
Exactly. So that's just me as a lifeguard saying, guys, listen, this is something we need to be concerned about. You need to be concerned about this. Fear-mongering? No, I'm trying to warn you.
Yeah. We don't want you to be sucked with the undertow because that's not helpful for anybody.
That should be the title of this video. Don't get sucked in the undertow. So with that, there's a channel that I love, by the way. And I don't watch them all the time. In fact, we don't watch a lot of YouTube. We try to, but we're just so busy with kids and making our own channel. Stephen Gardner. I love Stephen Gardner. I'll put a link in the description below for him. If you watch him, you know what I'm talking about. He's very even-keeled. He tells you about the news. He tells about his perspective, which economically, financially, just like the Economic Ninja, financially they know their stuff really well, which is great. I love finances, but nothing like these guys. Anyway, he was talking about oil prices. And if you recall, a few months ago, Biden went over to Saudi Arabia as Saudi Arabia made a mockery of the United States and Biden. They actually made a parody video if you ever saw it. It's hilarious.
I think they took it down, but...
And anyways, so Biden goes over there and he's like, please, please, please open up the floodgates and give us some more gasoline. And OPEC and Saudi Arabia said, sure, we'll give you 100,000 more barrels a day, which is like staggering. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of oil.
That's a lot of oil.
And I believe what we see right now, as far as the gas prices lull, are partly because of that. But I also see partly, too, that the gas companies right now are making like big-time record sales.
Well, also, things are coming up here in a couple months that change, and everybody wants to look good in a couple months.
Right,
so.
Exactly. However, here's the funny part about this. OPEC has now turned around and said, you know what, Biden, I know you begged and you kissed my hairy toes and all these things, but I'm going back on it. we are now cutting off the oil supply. And here's what I've seen in the news: by 100,000 barrels a day. In other words, the agreement they made to make things better for us, they took that agreement away. But Stephen Gardner said no. He actually read somewhere by a non-mainstream media source that they're actually dropping it by 1 million barrels a day.
So we're negative now. What they're gonna...
ultimately, long story short, it's going to cause gas prices to skyrocket. Combine that with Russia has now turned off the metaphorical spigot of gasoline to Europe, which many countries have said they do not have enough fuel oil to make it through the winter. You're asking for a
collapse,
riot.
yeah.
You're asking for a collapse.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with no gas, they're
Right.
hungry and cold.
And then to add insult to injury, and Russia's economy is doing very well, by the way, which is ironic considering we're the ones trying to cripple them and we're being crippled. China and Russia have made agreement where China's like, hey, just sell us all that extra oil since you're not selling to Europe now. And Russia's like, you got it. And they're paying them rubles and gold for all this oil.
Okay.
As they continue the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, so South Africa, okay, and some other countries are looking at joining too. They are actually binding together to have this oil at a discounted rate per se, while the rest of the country, the rest of the world, Europe and America, we're in trouble. Now, we don't get our gas from Russia anyway, but understand the whole markets are all attached to each other. We are in trouble. So right now, you may sit back in your lawn chair on the beach. Lawn chair? You don't use lawn chairs on the beach. You may sit back on your beach chair, and you'll see the water going out, and you're like, oh, this is nice. Look, I can pick up the shells. That water's moving out pretty fast. You know the wave that's coming in next is going to hit hard.
Yeah.
So again, combined with the diesel prices, the problems with farmers, I've actually talked to and heard from many farmers who are saying they actually have about a quarter of what they normally would have as far as their harvest goes.
Between the shortage in rain to just the chemicals that they need for the stuff, everything.
So I often have a lot of the people who email me say, wow, we're heading up for a perfect storm. In other words, a tsunami.
Yep.
Guys, get ready, a tsunami's coming. Am I a weather forecaster? Yeah, kinda. But even weather forecasters, I was gonna say they're sometimes not right. They're never right, it seems to be.
At least here in Michigan they're not.
So what I see in the forecast is a tsunami coming. And right now you think, oh cool, I can get lots of corned beef hash and it's even on sale, then buy it. Buy these things. Buy the stuff on sale. Put the sales on our Facebook prepping page so we can all share on this together. Because guess what? When the tsunami comes, we're all in this together.
Yeah, we're all going to be under.
And it's going to be, in my opinion, a greater depression than what happened in the 30s. And we're all in for, worldwide too, not just the United States, we're all in for a serious rude awakening. That's what I'm scared is happening. Okay, anyways, that's your official notice from the lifeguard. I put the warning flags out. Don't yell at me when I'm just simply telling you the waves are hard, but I'm trying to let you know there's a tsunami warning. You might want to get away from the water as much as you can.
Be prepared.
There's no getting away from the water.
No, there isn't, but you can prep.
You can prep, and that's what we're all about.
Yep.
Goshen prepping. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of this. And by all means, let's get a feedback going too, is helping each other out as far as the different types of wave warnings and tsunami warnings too, because again, we are all in this together.